Sitting loud at the mic, discussing politics, their passion ignites. Conservative values, they stand their ground. In a world of chaos, their truth can be found. Unsanctioned America, they won't back down. Voices of reason in a liberal town. Oh, John and Tom bringing the heat. In a podcast storm, they won't face defeat. Speaking their minds, it's a freedom fight. Unsanctioned America, they'll light up the night. They break it down, what's fair and what's right, calling out the nonsense, shining a light. With every debate, they sharpen their blade, fighting for freedom, the lights on relay. In a nation divided, they'll rise above with passion and truth and a whole lot of love. Oh, John and Tom bringing the heat. In a podcast storm, they won't face defeat. Speaking their minds, it's a freedom fight. Unsanctioned America, they'll light up the night. So tune in and listen, join the crusade for a brighter tomorrow. The truth will not fade.
Of all liberation struggles and the movements that seek a world of justice, equality, and peace, that seek to dismantle the United States. I hope you seek to dismantle the United States. And if that isn't your politics, okay? I speak as if everybody has this commitment. And the thing is that you should listen to Indigenous people when they're telling you that this is the goal. And that not only is this the goal, but this is the starting point. Because I think Nick articulated this very clearly. Decolonization is the only thing that is going to save us as a species. It's the only thing that's going to save us as a planet. And everyone should just be on board with it, no questions asked. And I say this sometimes on the podcast, our Red Nation podcast, and the co-host of Red Power Hour. You know, like, of the most oppressed ass people in Turtle Island, Indigenous women are like on the top of that fucking list, okay? And incarcerated at higher numbers, murdered at higher numbers, missing at higher numbers, higher levels of rape and all kinds of sexual violence and sexual harassment. I mean, Indigenous women struggle so hard under the settler regime that is the United States, and the way that heteropatriarchy ties so closely into that. And if an Indigenous woman is telling you that decolonization is the solution, and also that there is real hope, and that Palestine offers us, we said this in the speech, Palestine is the alternative path for Native nations. And this is because we understand Palestine, and the liberation of Palestine is the tip of the spear, right? It is a righteous struggle And it is so powerful that it has literally, in 60 days, changed the entire world. The entire world has changed. I knew it the moment that it happened, that nothing, and I mean nothing, for colonizers or for any of the good, humble people of the earth would be the same ever again. And we need to lean into that. Lean into the fact that colonizers are scared. Lean in to scaring them and making them feel uncomfortable, right?
My name is Special Agent Smith with the Department of Justice, and I'd like to report that after a full investigation, we've concluded Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. Alone, no foul play, nobody came to his cell, it was just a suicide. Also, nobody flew to Epstein Island. There is no evidence of that. It is all hearsay. And to be clear, there is no client list. None at all. That is all a conspiracy theory brought up by people like Alex Jones and Fox News. Also, Epstein did not work with Mossad. Yes, he had ties with Israel, Ehud Barak, and Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, but that's neither here nor there. Remember, we're the Department of Justice. Why would we lie?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, why would they lie, John, right? Why would they lie? But I don't want to get too much into that, John, before we really get into that. But the first video, that woman was speaking at the Democratic Socialist of America meeting.
That video, the first, we need to clarify, that first video was not irony or satire.
No.
Okay? That was an actual, real video of a real person did not be living in reality.
Yes.
But a real person. And so that was not a joke.
They absolutely exist. You know, we want to pretend that they don't exist. And you know, because we don't interact with these people on a regular basis. Like, we choose to not be around these people. But even, you know, when we're around others that we don't normally associate with, we don't think of people that think like this. But yes, these people do exist. They are out there. And that was at the Democratic Socialists of America meeting. Of course, you know, who else would be cheering for that but those people? These are the Bernie Sanders AOC people.
These are crazy people. There's not a single person in that room, I bet, that's not on some type of medication. Those are crazy people. And that was an actual, I still don't understand that there would be people applauding the things that she was saying. But you can imagine that the people, we've joked about it before, saying, imagine what that room smells like. Imagine what that room smells like. The type of people that would applaud to that.
Oh, man.
It's just crazy. And yes, the second video was a joke, and it was basically Epstein. Who's Epstein? We never heard of Epstein.
No.
And that's obviously not going to fly. A couple of stats before we get into it. We're going to talk about these things in depth. This is going to be an excellent show. This is a lot of good stuff and information that you're going to need to hear. But just to give you an idea, over the last several days, since they announced the Epstein thing, more than 2 million posts about Epstein have gone just on X, right? In second place, the next highest post subject did not reach more than 100,000. Yeah. So, or it was about 100,000. So that gives you an idea as to how important this is to not just the base, but to Americans in general, right? There's a lot of people who did not vote for Kamala. Maybe they didn't vote for Trump, but all of those people also care about our country not being run by a bunch of deviant pedophiles. And so it's important to all those people, and we're going to talk about it tonight.
Absolutely.
This is episode 315, July 10, 2025, and I am former school board member John Arguello. This is my great friend, citizen Tom Lord, And we have this is Unsanctioned America. And we're going to go all across from coast to coast, talk a lot about different things. Let's say a quick prayer and then right down to the show. And this prayer specifically for the people out in Texas and the victims of Epstein Island. Lord God, an incredible country that we live in. It certainly, there's no place else in the world that is as safe, where you can pursue your happiness on your own terms like this country. It is not perfect. And sometimes, whether it's in our control, like what happens with the pedophiles from Epstein Island, or out of control, such as the weather, we know that there's a lot of people that hurt, that need help, that need aid, that need neighborly love. And we pray for all those people out in Texas and for the victims of Epstein Island. We pray that you provide them with, just cover them in your love. And most importantly, that you, where they need to be consoled, you strengthen them when they need to be strengthened, and that you lead them back to you. And we hope that they can lean on you in times of loss and pain and suffering. Strengthen us all to do the things that we need to do as good neighbors and good Americans for one another, and show each other some love. Lord, lastly, we surrender our lives to you and we submit to your will, even when things are this dark and difficult. In your son's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get to it, Tom. What do you got up first? What do you got queued up?
All right, John. So we can't leave this alone. This has to be the top story because, like you said, it is on X. It's the top story on X. People do not want to let this go, and I understand why, because we're all looking for that accountability. Let's just remind people what Attorney General Pam Bondi said back in February.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. So,
have you even looked at it? Did you even read? It was on your day. You had a stack. She remember when she said, listen, that's not the only time she mentioned that she has this stuff on her desk.
Yes.
There's other interviews where she mentions it, that she has those documents on her desk. And it seems like she says that in response to the client list specifically. She's not talking about general files. At least it doesn't appear that way. It seems like, as she mentions, it's on my desk every time they talk about the client files. And that could mean a lot of more than just one thing. That could mean the flight logs. That could mean the client list. That could mean the black book. And the fact is that this is a horrendous display of transparency. You know, I know, all of America knows that that's BS. They have information. They are not releasing the information. And it would be, I guess, status quo, except for the fact that they spent a lot of time and many opportunities in the press promising that they would.
Yeah.
And that is, listen, I'm still a supporter of Trump. I'm not going to abandon Trump, right, and say that this is all Trump's fault or whatever. He is responsible, but I'm not going to say that it's his fault. Pam Bondi, number one, I think needs to go. She has absolutely lost the Department of Justice any credibility. It's not that I never had an issue with Pam Bondi. I thought I had respect for her. She did a good job as AG in Florida, but she did let Epstein go on charges in South Florida, right? That happened under her watch. Then she allows, okay, which may not seem related. In my opinion, everything's always related. She allowed for the daughter of Comey, from what I understand, to prosecute the case in California with P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, baby oil, right? So she allowed her to prosecute that case, and they lost. They essentially lost. He got away with the two biggest charges. And it tells me, wait, what is the FBI doing here? What is the Department of Justice doing here? Something is not right. And Pam Bondi happens to be the common denominator for all these things going wrong.
Well, you know, John, this is the thing. Caroline Leavitt and the White House had to answer for all this since they made the disclosure that there's nothing there, and that's what they said. And here she is defending Pam Bondi.
So the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer
All right,
Heat,
so there's the pivot.
which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000.
All right, that's all good, you know, and that was the pivot there, John. She was getting away from that subject and going on to the great things that are happening. And yes, there's a lot of great things happening, but this is what people want, is accountability. And let's remind people of the fact that before Pam Bondi and the president and everyone else called all these social media influencers to the White House and gave them those binders full of nothing, I guess. You know, from what I'm understanding, it was all information that everybody
previously
knew.
released.
Yes. Remember that before that, James O'Keefe caught Pam Bondi on a hot mic speaking to somebody in a restaurant about the Epstein files. Yeah. And that what she's discovered was disgusting and that they were going to release it. She said all this stuff on a hot mic. She didn't know she was being recorded in a restaurant. That was from James O'Keefe. It's just crazy, John, that now they're saying there's nothing there. And then you have this from President Trump and Pam Bondi at their briefing.
So what's really going on?
Oops, wrong one. What did they move? Hold on a minute. Let me see. All right. So, yes, here she is this week. Sorry.
Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing.
John, why are we holding such a high-profile prisoner in a prison that has a security system that old and that decrepit? Like she said, it's old, it needs to be updated. Why are we holding a high-profile prisoner like Jeffrey Epstein in that place then? But John, one of the crack experts on X did find that missing minute of video, and here it is. There's the missing minute right there. That was it. But
that's the last thing you want to see if you are in politics and you see Hillary Clinton on the street. Like I'd rather see MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members coming down my sidewalk than Hillary Clinton, because you're guaranteed to die if you see one and not the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen. The 1 minute, it's so dumb. But not only is it just that minute was missing, I think a lot of people focused on that. That angle doesn't even give you Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Yeah. It's so crazy. Benny Johnson went through this whole description of that video and debunked that within an hour of it being released, I think. This is, Trump said, "You're still talking about Epstein?" Listen, this is thousands of people who have been victimized, right? This is not just each child that was victimized there, but the family of that child, and there's all these influencers right now on X. By the way, if you're not on X, you need to go get on X and you need to make your piece known, because as I said, 2 million posts versus maybe 150,000 posts for number 2 place spot. This is an important issue. It's determining whether our country, which path it's going to take. Are we going to accept a lack of transparency regardless of who the president is? Or are we going to insist and pressure the government to expose what it's done wrong, to live in a way that is more in line with the American people? That's what it's about. And I will never stop talking about Epstein until the Epstein truth comes out. And so I don't care about what her opinion is. And honestly, I'll just say this. I love him, but I don't care what Donald Trump's opinion of that is. I don't care that he doesn't like the fact that I won't drop Epstein, or that he's telling people. And by the way, there's a lot of reports of the FBI and the Department of Justice reaching out to influencers on the web, telling them to not talk about this in exchange for access. There's rumors of it. A lot of influencers talk in different chats and whatever are talking about it. That's a real danger, because that's exactly what the Bidens did. That's what the Biden administration was all about. Not Biden, because I don't even know why they even call it the Biden administration. The auto pen administration. That's what they were doing. And it was just a disease. We cannot allow any corruption with the government at all. It's what sets this country apart. It's what we need to stick to. We have to have that moral high ground. And the Department of Justice has to stand for justice. If it doesn't stand for justice, forget it. Then it's just the Gestapo. It's the Stasi. What's the difference, right? They have policing authority. It's a national police force. And if they're not for justice, then what are they for? And so we can't have that. And Pam Bondi has to go. Spam Bondi, as I call her. She's Spam Blondie. She's got to go. She has to go. She's caused so much damage to the legacy of Donald Trump that if I were Donald Trump, I don't know how she has survived to this point. It's incredible. It is incredible. I'm ashamed that she's from Florida. We have to go back and review all the work that she's done. Now, here's a quick reminder. Part of the AG of Florida and AG of the United States, she worked where? At Ballard Partners, which is a gigantic lobbying firm. And who is she representing? A whole bunch of people that I think that we want to know the truth about who she was representing, because the type of person that would go to a firm and represent the type of people that's on that list, if what's produced as a byproduct of that is a Pam Bondi-like attorney general, we should never hire anyone from that lobbying firm ever again, because it just shows that there is zero accountability to the American people. And I can't live it down. I'll never live it down. It's a mistake that Donald Trump has made. in the entire in both of his presidencies, in my opinion. And that's such a I'm not a that you know that, right? I'm not a sensitive, but that's the most insensitive. It's just so. I mean, it's really a terrible way to look at. Are we still talking about Epstein? Of course we are.
Yeah.
We're talking about pedophilia. That is basically the intelligence agencies, arms of the United States government, along with the Israeli intelligence communities, perpetrating this crime supposedly upon thousands of children, and then American billionaires being able to come and do that and get away with it. And they keep telling, go look online, go look at Nancy Mace, go look at all these people online. And what are they talking about? Oh, we're border control. We can't let these illegals come over here and have crimes. Okay, so if you're a Mexican, you can't come here illegally and cause a crime because people lose their mind. But if you are a billionaire of whatever origin, you can come here or Epstein Island and then come here and sex traffic kids and so on, and that's perfectly fine. Hell no, we want everybody out. I don't care what race, I don't care what ethnic background, I don't care what language you speak, I don't care anything about anything except for the fact that you are a decent human being and you come here legally. But if you're an American and you're involved in this type of thing, then you need to be, heads need to roll over this, figuratively, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing, John, is we want accountability. Everybody wants accountability, and I think that's what we were expecting. That's why everyone is so disappointed by President Trump, his comments, and the Trump White House and what they've done here. It's really sad. And especially with Pam Bondi, like you said, she has connections here in Florida that were very untrustworthy. They're not going to get away from this, and we predicted this on this show. We had talked about this.
Absolutely.
This came out that the Democrats were never going to let this, go. They were never going to let it go. And we actually have already Democrats going after this on
Before
CNN.
you play that, have you noticed, by the way, that the Democrats are for the most part being silent on the thing? Every move that Trump makes, they're on top of him. They're like, oh my gosh, how dare he? How dare he? Oh, look, he helped a little old lady cross the street. He's just impeding on her independence. How dare he? How dare he? Well, he does this with Epstein, and they're like little birds, silently. Oh, did you see the weather today? That's the number one story. BS. You know what? The Democrats don't want this, and there are some Democrats who just started the call for the Epstein list. They don't want it released, and for some reason, they think that he won't, and that's the only reason they're even mentioning it.
Yeah, the thing is this, John, is they have flight logs. They know who's been to that island, all right? And it's not about a little black book, all right? If they don't have a little black book, I'm sure Ghislaine Maxwell has one, but it's not even about the
She has the black book that has 2,000 people in it.
Let us
know. And the bottom line is,
who went to that island.
You have Maxwell in a jail cell. Why not pull her out by the hair and sit her down in the chair and interview her until she tells you who was involved?
No.
You have a witness. You have the person who coordinated the whole thing. So get her out. Give her immunity. She's already in jail for 20 years. Give her immunity for this and make sure she tells everybody. And the reason, if she doesn't, come on. That tells you something.
Yeah.
You have the witness. Why not ask her? Nobody's talking about Maxwell. That's who they should be talking about. Put her in an interview room, give her immunity, and let her tell everyone who went to that island.
Yep. Well, here's CNN going after Trump on this.
So what's really going on here? What's really going on? Well, experts, such as our friend Julie Brown from the Miami Herald, who's been covering Epstein for years, say that the notion of Epstein having an easy-to-access client list is likely a red herring. And that's what the Trump administration is relying on, that there likely isn't a list per se. But they are also now relying on the fact that because it's MAGA influencers who often put forward so many falsehoods, legacy news media won't push the point, that while there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Now, sure.
All right, enough of him, but you can't defend the administration on this, John. You really can't.
No.
Defend them on this. It's just, We know that there were flights to that island. We know allegedly what Prince Andrew did down on that island. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because we know many, many billionaires and famous names have been to that island. Put that out there. Let people know. Let people draw their own conclusions. If you don't have anything you can go after them on.
That was another thing that they were concerned about. That, from what I understand, okay, so there's all kinds of versions. Let me play devil's advocate here. So one of the reasons that they were saying that they didn't want to release any of these things were because they would implicate a whole bunch of people without justly implicating them, right? Without actual, without any basis in fact that they did anything wrong. Okay, well, that was one thing. The other thing was that Trump was using this to basically pressure the deep state into playing along with the agenda, with the America First agenda. And that was another thing they said. Another thing was that other countries were, begging Trump and pressuring Trump not to release it because there's way too many people involved, and they were just preventing him from doing it, and why. And so, none of those three reasons, none of the three are, even if they were all true, none of them are more important than the American people. Are you going to pick the dignitaries across the world? Are you going to pick the millionaires in our country? Are you going to pick celebrities' reputations over the American people? No, we don't do that. It's the American family. That's what was important. That's what he campaigned on. MAGA is about America, and America is about the American people. It's not about celebrities. It's not about the kings in the Middle East. It's not about the kings on the small island of Great Britain. It's not about the people in Europe. I almost dropped an F-bomb there. You have Macron dating a man, right, or married to a man. We know that these people are not they're not going to be elected Pope anytime soon.
No.
So it's just, we already suspect the worst about these people. Nothing that comes out, there's nothing that's going to be on that Epstein list that is going to make us think any differently than we do now. What we want is accountability. What we want is faith in our country. We want faith in our government. That's what we want. So there's nothing on that list. There's not a single thing that's on that list, okay, that is going to make us feel any differently about any of the people that are there. We already believe that the celebrities are already the worst of the worst. We already believe that the deep state is the worst of the worst. God only knows that, I think Alex Jones was saying that the royal family of England, they have to do more with pedophilia than bees have to do with honey. Okay, so I thought that was hilarious. But the point is that we already think the worst of these people. What we want is to have faith in our nation again. That's what we want. And we need transparency and truth for that to happen.
Yeah. And there's others out there now, John, saying that there is an Epstein client list, Alan Dershowitz being one.
Yep. There's a lot that have been released. And it has all these names, and it's not anybody that we didn't know that was already on there, because this, lists have been coming out over and over and over again. We don't know what's exactly what we want, and that's why it's a list. And it is transparency from our government.
Yeah.
We're going to take the word of our government. We want the government to make good on its word. And we want Donald Trump to make good on his word too.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. All right, John. So we'll see if this stays in the news, as it stays a hot item. I know that they're trying to bury this as much as they possibly can with as much good news as they possibly can. But it comes down to accountability, and a lot of people wanted to see accountability from this administration. And it's looking like we have a two-tier justice system, and people are going to talk about that. It's the rich and the wealthy and the rest of us, and not good.
And I think that Trump knows better than anybody the results of that, right? Like if you're not the unanointed one, then you go to prison if you try to speak your mind or reach the American people. And it's just so hurtful for us to see that Trump would do that to us for whatever reason. I'm sure that he has his good reasons, right? Hopefully it's not. Hopefully he fires Bondi and he's like, I told that blah, 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 that she was supposed to release that stuff. She embarrassed me. But and how loyal he is, though.
Yeah,
so maybe he tried to protect
from
her at
that clip from his cabinet briefing, it didn't look like he was going in that direction.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Everybody can change their mind. And, sometimes it's okay to, like, I was on Denizen's X Space the other night. And he asked me, what would be okay for you? What would be okay for you? What would make this whole thing okay for me? And I was like, a couple of things. Of course, we want transparency. We want to believe in our country. We want to be able to do these things. We need the truth at the bottom line is we need the truth. But at the same time, he's the best president of the last. He could be the best president in the history of our country years to accomplish that. Ability, when you do something wrong, is okay too. It makes you better. Yeah. And I've been humbled many of times in my career, and I'm nowhere near where Trump is. A little bit of humility for Trump. It would go leaps and bounds with the American people. And I think that he should humble himself and say, you know what? I didn't realize how important this was to you. I want you to know that I made these decisions because I thought they were the best. But now that I realize how important this is to the American people, this is we're gonna be transparent. We're gonna show you what you asked for, and that's it. And then here's all the disclosures, right? Not everybody on this list committed a crime. Not everybody on this list this. This doesn't always mean this. This doesn't mean what. You got to look at it. Whatever. These people haven't been charged. No charges are going to come. Make a case, et cetera. But show us, and acknowledge, and that you will not do it again. You will not try to hide the American people. We can handle it. I had another influencer. I don't even want to mention his name because he made me sick by saying that the American people can't handle it and we're just going to have to get over it. And then I'll mention one that I think deserves to be pummeled right now. What's his name? Ben, the tiny Jewish guy. Ben, super famous. What's his name? Tom.
I don't know. Ben who?
He wears a little yarmulke. Oh my gosh, super famous.
Oh, Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro, right? So Ben Shapiro was out there saying, it's a 0 on my list. Yeah, because first, I'm not Israel first. I'm America first, okay? And let me, this is something that needs to be spoken about because a lot of people are afraid to say this. I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not Israel first. I'm America first. I am pro-Israel. I'm a supporter of Israel, and I'm okay with the defense of Israel. I'm okay investing blood, sweat, energy into Israel's protection. I'm not okay sacrificing the United States for Israel. I'm not okay with that. And let me tell you something else. And if you can't handle what I'm about to say, then cover your ears now. This Israel that would allow its intelligence communities to commit these atrocities against children and allow its Mossad to have these atrocities against children are not the people of God. These are not the people of Christ. I can guarantee you. This is not something that Christ would condone. These are not God's people. And this is just the case. Mossad is not full of God's people. I'm sorry to break that to you, but there's something that we're not understanding because we're not getting closer. And if we allow these people, regardless, to use any label, I'm a Jew. I can say whatever I want. I'm a Jew. I can do this. I can do that. Whatever. I'm Hispanic. I can get away with crossing a border illegally. Forget all those labels. At the end of the day, justice speaks and lies do dirty deeds. And those facts are not going to change. And we need to follow the path to the moral high ground in order to be the country that we are destined to be.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about Elon Musk and the America Party. Now, John, Elon threatened to start his own third party, the America Party, if the big, beautiful bill passed. And, of course, the big, beautiful bill did pass. And now he's starting this America Party. Normally, I wouldn't go to CNN for anything, but this guy, Enton, he's been on the money.
Yeah, this entire thing makes very little sense to me. It makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. What are we talking about here? What is the size of Elon Musk's base? Well, I calculate it to be about 4%, just 4%, 4% of all voters. What is that base made up of? Well, it's those who view Elon Musk favorably and the GOP unfavorably. We're talking just about 4% of all voters out there because it turns out most of the people who like Elon Musk already like the GOP already. That is, they already have a party for him. In my mind, there is just no base for Elon Musk's third party in the electorate, at least initially speaking.
All right. When we talk about
All right. So, yes, They're saying 4%. 4% of all voters would be in line for this or be an agreement of this third party, John, the America Party. You got to think about how this began, though, right? How did this begin, and how Elon Musk came up with this and wanted to go ahead and go forth with this America Party. This meme by Magical Trevor of the Dilly Meme team, I think, sums it up. It's basically all of Elon's tweets and then a few of Donald Trump's tweets going back and forth. And you can see the start here. Trump tariffs will cause a recession. Tesla is not unscathed here. Tariff impact, on Tesla, on electric vehicles. These are all the things that he was tweeting.
Stop it. Get some help.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
All right, so I didn't play the whole thing, but I wanted you to get the gist of it because this is how it began. You can go back to 2021 with Elon Musk tweets and talking about the EV subsidies, electric vehicles, and all this stuff. And it pretty much makes the case that President Trump put out that this whole, rift between him and Elon Musk is over the loss of those EV subsidies that he was getting. And this is why this America Party is starting, John.
So the guy from CNN, I like that guy. I think that he does a pretty good job polling. He's kind of annoying as much as he is entertaining. But I like him. He's probably the second reason, only the second and a very distant second reason to watch CNN besides Scott Jennings. CNN is like dying on the vine, and Scott Jennings is single-handedly is keeping them alive. Now,
facts.
Okay, so you and I have discussed this at length way before there was a falling out between Trump and Musk. All right, I always said I'm not Musk's biggest fan. I think that there's ulterior motives with this. I think that he also decided at the last minute. He kind of got pressured to do that. I think that at the end of the day, a lot of the people were right when they said these are way too big of egos. The people, they were trying to make it like they would never survive, right? And we kind of knew that these, these are big egos. These are big personalities. These are very accomplished people, and you can't have too many chiefs and too few Indians. Now, this is, at the end of the day, as I said already multiple times, this is Trump's game, right? It's Trump. Trump is the ship captain. There's no other ship captain. There's only Trump. And I'm sure that Elon Musk saw multiple reasons to become frustrated. And this is going to sound like a defense of Elon Musk, and it's not. It's just being fair. Elon Musk, you could see all of these benefits that you had with the government being erased, right? And of course, it's going to impact you. It's going to impact you. This is money in your pocket. He sacrificed a lot for this country, Elon Musk. He went and he bought X to provide people with some security with their First Amendment. There's a lot of things that he sacrificed also. So, of course, he's vested. The fact that he can't control the outcome because there's another bull with bigger horns in front of him is something that was too hard for Elon Musk to swallow, in my opinion. And at the same time, there's some disagreements. I 100% agree with Elon on the spending of the BBB. It was too much. Yeah. There were not enough cuts. I can agree with that. Now, am I going to abandon Trump over that? No, because at the end of the day, I understand where my line ends and his begins. Now, as an American, I'm Trump's boss, right? As an American, you're Trump's boss. As an American, Elon's Trump's boss. but Trump is the captain. So we can complain, we can advocate, we can state our piece like you and I have been doing for 3 years. But at the end of the day, we have to understand we're not the president. And I think that Elon Musk, that line for him was a little bit blurred, and he didn't have control over it. And that's probably hard for him. So now he, as far as I know, he still has not filed FEC paperwork. So there is no America Party, right? He announced it, but there is no filings as far as I know. The other thing is, I disagree with the 4%. It's not 4%. I think it's more than that. I think it's between 8 and 14%. And the reason I say that is because the people that are going to go to that party, first of all, I think that people exaggerate how much people dislike Elon Musk. There's a lot of crazy liberals who they don't like anybody who has lunch with Donald Trump. Okay, those people are not going to join that party. But there's a lot of liberals who are liberal, either socially, especially socially, and they are going to come over because they can't stand this craziness that they win, because they're not so liberal socially that they want men beating up women, that they want men beating women in sports, that they want men going into women's bathroom. That takes an insane level of liberalism. So there are liberals who can't stand the Democrat Party anymore because they feel like they're embarrassed by the association. They might join. Right. And then there's some Republicans. There's two groups of Republicans that will join this party. One is rhino opportunists, right? Rhino opportunists, they'll go wherever they have an opportunity. Yeah. They're a cancer, and they'll be a cancer for Elon Musk. And then there's a super ultra right people who are frustrated with the GOP because the GOP is corrupt.
Yes, but John, will they join Elon Musk's America
Maybe not.
Party?
They won't. They'll leave the Republican Party, but they won't join the America Party because Elon Musk is not conservative. Right. So Elon Musk is apparently he's not even a fiscal conservative. He's a fiscal realist, right? He knows that the amount of spending that we have going on is unsustainable. He can see that as a businessman. So it's not that he's fiscally conservative. It's that he is a realist when it comes to finances. He knows that there's disaster ahead, that we're not resolving the problem yet. And so I think that that's very attractive to fiscal conservatives. I'm also a fiscal conservative and social conservative. So I agree with that. But they're not going to join because at the end of the day, nobody's going to join and say that it's far to the left for Republicans to join, like me. I'll never join that party. I didn't even consider it. I woke up and I was like, what's this platform? I heard him talking for 5 seconds. I was like, can't do it. Now I'm gone from the Republican Party. I don't want anything to do with the Republican Party because they are a joke. There's zero justice. There's zero truth. There's zero transparency. They are a nasty joke. They are a cancer on our country. The Republican Party is a cancer on the American people. That's what they are. They should be removed, cut out. Now, so are the Democrats, and they're far worse. The only thing worse than the Republican Party is the Democrat Party, which is why I joined the America First Party. That has nothing to do with Elon Musk, America First Party. But here's the thing. All we have to do is look at Florida, and you see the example. The party is a problem right now. And the equilibrium of power of these parties is a problem for our country. It's what allows the deep state to survive, because the parties, their job is not to fix our country. Their job is to keep power for their party. That's their job. Yeah. It's like a private corporation. AT&T's job it's not their job to provide you with the best phone service. It's their job to get the most amount of profit in their company for everything that they sell. Every penny that they invest, their return needs to be better. Right? That's their job. And it's the same for the party. They invest in their power. They don't invest in making our country better. We need to change that. And you can see parties have died before. There was the Republican Democratic Party. That was here. The Whig Party. Everybody's familiar, right? The Bull Moose Party came and went very quickly. So it happens. Yes, there's only two parties right now, two major parties. All the other parties, third parties. But those two parties have switched and changed. I think that we do need a change. It's not Elon Musk. If anything, I think Donald Trump needed to start a party of his own. Yeah. Donald Trump is, and a lot of people, conspiracy theory talk now, is that Donald Trump will go make up with Elon Musk and they'll take the America Party and do something or something like that or whatever. I've heard some people stating. I don't think that that's true. The people get a lot of complicated, right? They get very complicated on some of these things that we don't understand. I like to keep it simple. The simplest is usually the right answer. I have trouble keeping it simple sometimes, so I can appreciate the fact that it's just sometimes it's too much. Let the simple answer be Right now, I think that they're pissed at each other. But in the future, I can guarantee you one thing. Trump is, at his age, when he's done with this, I'm sure that he's going to want to hand off that legacy to somebody. And those people are not going to want, at least I imagine, and I pray that I'm right. I don't think that the Don Juniors, the people of the future of the Republican Party, I don't think that they want the corruption. And they've talked a lot about the deep state. And if they don't cure the deep state in the next 3.5 years, they may not have the opportunity to do it again anytime soon. And if they don't want to do it, then those aren't the people that I want to be associated with. That for me. And by the way, that was a poll. Really quickly, I'll end with this. There was a poll, and removing the deep state, okay, draining the swamp was the way the question was written. Draining the swamp was more important than integration in the United States to the American voter right now, and it was by a large margin. And that tells you how important this is right now. And people are now coming to consensus. That's always been my number one issue, right? Because I think that there's a lot of people that are just as smart as Trump, that have just as good as intuition, that have just as good theory and knowledge, and they'll be able to run our country well. But I don't think that everybody has the balls like Trump does to take on the establishment, to drain the swamp the way that he can. And if he does not do it, which is why everybody's so upset, then we're lost. Please like and share the show, by the way, while we have an opportunity to say that.
Yeah, John, I know that the Libertarian Party chairman reached out to Elon Musk, begging him not to start the America Party and to just join the Libertarian Party, which I can tell you is a complete total joke. But when you talk about the America Party that Elon Musk is forming, there is already a list of people who are supporting this effort, and here is that list right here: Mark Cuban, Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch, he's on the list. Brian Krasenstein, a known liberal influencer. Thomas Massey, a known rhino. Mike Pence, another known rhino. So you can see this list here.
This is the worst
I
of the
would not
worst.
want to join a party that has these folks in it. That's for sure.
This is a recipe for shit. I'm not afraid to say it. Okay, so you have a taller version of Rosie O'Donnell, number one. Number two, you have Anthony Scaradouche, okay? This guy is a dirtbag of the most extreme levels. You have Brian Krasenstein. All you got to do is go to his ex, and he'll talk you out of liking him, no matter, even if he were to save his life. If you read 2 of his posts, you'll hate him after that. Yeah. He's an absolute idiot. Thomas Massey, I'm not going to say that he's a rhino. I know that he doesn't like Trump, and I think that he's self-righteous kind of guy, and so self-righteous is the thing that gets under my skin as much as anything else, right? He's very self-righteous. He all of a sudden, he's become this fiscal hawk. He's always been a fiscal conservative, but now he's a super fiscal hawk, but apparently he's only a fiscal hawk when Donald Trump is in the room. Yes. If it's a Democrat who's president, if it's a all these other liberals, anything else, he's not as fiscally conservative as he is when
if Biden is the president, he's okay with any of those spending bills that come across the desk. But
he doesn't fight nearly as hard against anybody else. But Trump, he fights to the death. And then Mike Pence, who's probably the most irrelevant guy. I think, and I'm not even sure that he's a real person. I think he's a robot at this point. I mean, I don't know. He's the Tin Man and a cowardly lion wrapped up into one. So that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Never forget, Tucker Carlson killed his political career. I mean, basically, Mike Pence killed his own political career on January 6th. But
listen, he was dead to me when that fly landed on his forehead. Listen, flies know where shit is. Okay, I've cursed twice on this show already. I haven't cursed on the show for 3 seasons. But listen, flies know where the poop is. Yeah. I mean, that was like a sign, wasn't it? That was like a sign. I think that we all didn't realize. We all hated it that it happened to him, but it was an omen.
Absolutely. All right, John. So President Trump announces he's sending more weapons to Ukraine.
Are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Your defensive weapons, primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. It's very sad. So many people are dying in that mess.
Yeah. All right. John, explain this.
Okay, so I hate this, and you guys are gonna be mad at me for saying it, but it's absolutely necessary. And here's the situation, and I think a lot, the people who watch the show all the time know that I'm super passionate about international affairs. I am not an expert on domestic issues. I'm not an economic that international affairs. I do have quite a lot of knowledge on, and I'll tell you what the issue here is. Number one, we have those mineral rights deals now. So now there's a financial reason that we're involved in this race. If everything that we've given to them, we will lose if we lose those mineral rights. The only stake that we have in this war right now, if you just go to one thing, the finances, the mineral rights deal that he inked with the Ukraine will pay back for everything that we've invested into Ukraine's defense at this point. Now, if Russia wins this war and they take over all of Ukraine, we lose everything. Everything that we've dumped in there. All of the chaos, all of the corruption, all of the money laundering, everything. We've lost everything. We've lost the entire foothold if Russia were to win. So that's number one. Number two is that Trump really gambled here. And here's why we hate what's going on with the Epstein thing, because he was being totally honest with you. I'm going to solve this water. I'm going to solve this war. I'm going to go there. We're going to negotiate peace, and we're going to make this happen. And he's a deal maker. So he went in there, full open-hearted, open arms with Russia. We're going to make this deal. Let's make this deal. Good faith. And then he finds out, Putin's he's a psychological, pathological liar. Oh, I didn't realize that he was a pathological liar. I thought that he was just a psycho, but he's a pathological liar. And so Putin has been buying time, hoping to get to the midterms. He doesn't want Trump there. I know it's hard for people to understand because you think that Trump's policies are friendly to him, but they're really not. Trump is tough. Everybody else is weak. Biden was asleep at the wheel. Putin would much rather go with somebody who's asleep at the wheel. He doesn't want Trump. And he also didn't want Hillary because he knows that Hillary would go to war because they become billionaires from it. Yeah. So but he does not want Trump because Trump makes too much sense. He's too pragmatic, and he wants things over and quick. And Putin, when you're rushed, you're a politician and you're rushed for an answer, you're not ready for that. Normally you draw it out, you let things happen, and then you just say you were responsible for the good and somebody else was responsible for the bad. And that's not what's under Putin's plan right now. So his plan is to win the war to the degree that he can, cause damage, and most importantly, if he does not take over all of Ukraine, that he gets to decide who the next Ukrainian president is. Right? Yeah. And that Ukrainian president has to make a law that they will never join NATO. He needs that. And Trump probably was like, well, shoot, if Trump is going to already give me that, then I might as well fight to the end. I'll get the point. If things go really badly, I'll still get that. Right? I'll still get that they never join NATO. I'll still get to choose the president. I'll still get to keep, whatever. I'll still, so I think Trump now has doubled down. Now he has to give them weapons because he has to cause Putin pain in order for him to be able to force him back to the negotiating table and in order to secure the American rights in terms of the mineral rights of Ukraine. And we know that Putin's not going to do that. Putin tried to make a deal. I guess at the end of the day, Putin's a liar. I think that a lot of us knew that. And you can't trust it. So now what do you got to do? You got to pound them into the ground. And thank God it's not American lives. To do it, longer a industrial complex-led fight. Now it's an American strategic, and that's exactly what I was afraid of. That's why I was so against giving them money. That's why we should have prosecuted them. Ukraine could have become part of Russia, right? Before Trump had these conversations with Putin, as far as I was concerned, Ukraine could have become part of Russia. I mean, that doesn't cost us anything, right? Yeah. They didn't lose. That's the way it was 50 years ago. So what difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference to us. But, okay, we like to see countries fight for their independence. That's us and whatever. But now we have it. And so now if we lose that, then Americans lose money out of their wallets. Now there's a lot of strategic consequences. So it's worth it to make sure that the Ukraine makes this as painful as possible for Russia, so that hopefully, best case outcome, Putin loses his grip on power in Russia, because the people are tired of losing their soldiers and their family members, their sisters and their brothers in that war, and they're tired of the economic disasters. And if I were Trump, and this is what everybody's always been afraid to do, ramp up the sanctions, ramp them up really hard. I mean, like at once, ramp up everything. Anybody who buys a droplet, a picoliter of Russian oil, boom, too. And that might be a little bit of a drag on our economy momentarily, but long term, strategically for the United States, because what we don't want is a strong Russia and a strong China going around making messes that the United States has to go pay for.
Yeah, I'm glad you said what you said, John, about this, because I think a lot of people, when you first hear that we're sending more weapons to Ukraine, you're just like, oh, really?
I'm pissed about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's mad, but, you know, I get what you're saying as far as it's strategic now and that we need to protect our interests there. So I get it, even though I don't like it. It is what it is.
And here's the thing: they should not be. But they don't need. Here's the difference between what was happening before and what needs to happen now is that before they were sending the money and they were laundering portions of it, and it was all a big scheme.
Yeah.
Right. It was a Ponzi scheme. We were losing the billions and billions and billions that Biden was sending over there. That money was lost. And if they purely on defense, then they would be in a different position in the war than they are now. Yeah. But they didn't. That was a money laundering scheme, and that money was lost. And now it's like, okay, so now what are we going to spend? Now we're in for it. Now they need, but we also need to ramp economy. We need to ramp up some production in terms of, you need 155 millimeter shells. You're going to need some Tomahawk missiles that can be launched from them. That's what I would be transferring, because Tomahawk missiles are extremely good, and they need to be able to stretch the boundaries of that war right now. I mean, imagine in the United States, if we were involved in like a World War I type of hand-to-hand combat. Now in Afghanistan, I did see that, but it was on a smaller scale. You find yourself where you had Taliban behind you and Taliban in front of you. You find yourself in that situation. But what you don't want is trench warfare, where there's these battle lines that are miles and miles and miles long, and fighting over a foot of dirt. I mean, that's you got to do. They have to be very strategic about what they send them, and it needs to hurt Putin.
Absolutely, John. Absolutely. All right, so the FBI announces criminal probes into James Comey and Brennan.
Well, now there's this. The FBI has launched criminal investigations into former FBI Director James Comey and the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. Justice Department sources tell Fox News Digital the probes are related to potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia investigation. That includes allegations of making false statements to Congress. We'll keep an eye on that for you.
So do you think we'll see accountability here, John?
No, I don't. I think that the statute of limitations has possibly run out. I think I'm no lawyer. I think this is a really hard case to actually see a prosecution. I think they're scaring them. I would absolutely. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. I'm saying that I believe that this has a lot to do with what happened with the Epstein case, right? You needed to show that they were doing something. How do you save Kash Patel? How do you save Dan Bongino? How do you save Spam Blondie? This is a good way, right? You say that you're going to go and prosecute these guys, which everybody hates, and these are liars, and they did something wrong. But you have to put such pressure on them. Number one, that it costs them financially. You want them to leverage their homes. You want them to leverage him in a pawn shop selling his wedding ring. That's what you want these guys to be doing, right? Yeah. And that they should be doing that. That's a punishment, because that's what they did to General Flynn. Yes. Right, General Flynn, who's an American hero, a true American patriot, sacrificed his life. He was a Democrat his entire life. Okay, They did not like the fact that he was honest, and they put him into the ground. So what they did to General Flynn is exactly what they need to do to these two bastards and many more. Not just these two. They need to put Mayorkas in chain. They need to put a ball and chain on him. They need to send him to the desert to break rocks. They need to get all of these bastards. That's a recovery for their reputation. You still got to go out in the truth with Epstein, but absolutely go fight with these guys. But are we going to see the justice that we were to hope for? No. These are not going to be Marie Antoinettes. They're not going to go down like that. I think that hopefully it's just a financial loss for them and a burden, and you hope that they are disgraced and the whole world learns the truth about them. That's good enough. That's enough justice for me.
Yeah, I agree, John. I think I would just love to see these guys go down, you know. These guys are very deserving to go down, and hopefully the statute of limitations has not run out on these two, because especially after James Comey did what he did just recently with the 8647 deal that he did.
Well, here's the crazy part about that. You have
on the beach. He just found it on the beach.
He's so full of crap. Hey, listen, you know what happened? Somebody recently was being prosecuted, is recently being prosecuted for doing that and tagging him, and they're using that as evidence. So how does a guy, a copycat, go to jail or get prosecuted for that? But then Comey, who originated it, does not. You know, so I mean, they're taking it easy on these people. They're giving them these courtesies that they don't deserve, and we need to show the American public that what would happen to you would happen to you, no matter what office in the Pentagon you have, no matter what office you have in the Department of State building, no matter where your office in D.C. is, no matter what street. It can be, you can be on K Street or you can be anywhere. The law applies to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, John. So yes, we got a comment about from Jamie about dozen FBI officials that were disciplined for Trump's assassination.
Yeah, so there are people that are paying the price for that. I think that is going to happen, right? There's also some Secret Service people that got disciplined for that. So we'll wait and see how they get prosecuted and who was responsible for what. At some point, when the truth comes out about that, I think that, you know, I mean, these are bad people. You know, I don't know what the case for these individuals, but if you had an involvement or you relax on the security, especially because of your political nature, you almost allowed an American president to be prosecuted. You should do more than just lose your law license or lose your license to your cop license.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John. So the Supreme Court votes to allow Trump to cut the federal workforce anyway.
Breaking moments ago, the Supreme Court with a decision how the Trump move ahead with their plans to cut the federal workforce, at least for now. Justice correspondent David Spott, give us the backstory here, reporting live from Washington. Hi, David.
Hi, Martha. A nice Tuesday afternoon win for the Trump administration. And it's funny because the justices normally are on their summer recess right now. Doesn't mean they don't work behind the scenes, but these justices have been busy because of these executive orders and the way they've made their way through the legal process. But this right now is a order from the Supreme Court essentially saying that a San Francisco judge who put a stop to the Trump administration from cutting several federal agencies, they're saying that the Trump administration, in fact, right now can continue forward as the case plays out on its merits. So essentially back in May, several different agencies sued. They said that the Trump administration wanted to make cuts at the Departments of Agriculture, Commerce, Defense, Energy, Homeland Security, HUD, Justice, Labor, State Treasury, and Transportation, pretty much all of them. Now the Supreme Court is giving the Trump administration victory some almost 6 months into the president's second term here, saying that they can go forward with these reductions in forces. You may remember that this was part of the Doge effort when Elon Musk was still hanging out around the White House, but President Trump today, Martha, during the cabinet meeting said that some of those Doge moves made sense, were important, and this was a campaign promise and a promise really of this presidency to cut some of these federal agencies. And now this administration can feel vindicated from the Supreme Court as they move forward and make some of these.
Yeah, so.
I don't know why this would have ever been an issue. But they're unleashing now the power for him to be able to run the executive branch the way he should have all along. What a terrible, terrible legal precedence. And thank God for this. The Supreme Court was wise and not political in this finding, because imagine you're the CEO of a company and HR tells you, sorry, you can't fire anybody. It's just ridiculous. It goes against every American principle, that we've used for everything. It's ridiculous. And I mean, this judge should be punished. They need to be impeached. They need to lose their robes. If you're a judge and you do something as harmful as, imagine this judge delayed the president from enacting his constitutional duty for months. It's been 6 months. I mean, how much money was that? I mean, he should be responsible for it financially. I mean, imagine if they billed him, all these people that should have been fired, all the money that we had to pay for it, and that we lost having to pay for them because while this court case was playing out, and the legal fees. Imagine if they had to pay for it. No, they don't. We do. It's terrible.
It's terrible, John. It's terrible. And you're right. Some of these judges should be losing their robes. All right, so the new jobs report was out, John, and it reveals that American-born workers, their jobs have increased by 2 million. 2 million, but listen to the foreign-born.
President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration seems to be showing up in the jobs data. It's a point that the White House is making. Here's what they said about the latest jobs report. It shows that American-born workers have accounted for all of the job gains since President Trump took office, and wages continued to rise. So here are the numbers that they're talking about. Foreign-born employment has fallen by 5.
All right, so yeah, 543,000 foreign-born jobs lost, John, but 2 million native-born gained.
Yeah, I mean, 500,000 is probably in line with about the number of people that they've deported to. That number is not one for one, but they're on track to deport just over 1 million people, I think, for the year if they continue things out. Which, by the way, our friend Anthony Sabatini mentioned this in an X post that basically they have amnesty, right? They're saying that there's no amnesty, but there's legal amnesty and there's de facto amnesty. And de facto amnesty means that you're going to allow them to work. And legal amnesty means that you're going to make a law that says that they're legal, right? And so we're not going to make a law that says that they're legal, that we're not going to deport the millions and millions and millions of people. We're going to let them stay. So if you take out, let's say that they deport 3 million people or 3.5 million or even 4 million people, that still leaves more than 10 million people here in the United States illegally, almost 20 million people, I think. So these are not small issues. That drain on the economy so that you can get a cucumber for less. Vegetables aren't even cheap. Produce isn't even cheap here. So I just think that it's a terrible trade. The people who work on your car. And the worst for me, the hotel, right? Like hotel hospitality. They want to pay illegal aliens for the cheap labor so that they can make more profits. You're paying the same. You're paying the same. I mean, if you go and you rent a hotel and it's $400 a night, it's still $400 a night. Whether their profit margin is 30 and the biggest effect is your wages. The reason that we cannot provide for our families on one income anymore, in my opinion, is majority because of illegal labor. Illegal labor is an artificial drag, an artificial anchor on your wages. And when you do that, kids don't want to work because there's no job for them anyways, right? They're not going to hire to be brain surgeons at 18 or 22, right? So they need jobs that include cleaning a hotel room, that include flipping burgers, that include sweeping up the floor at Home Depot. But if you give all of those jobs to illegals, and then when they're 25 and they have a kid, hopefully, what kind of work ethic are they going to have? They have no experience. They don't even know how to be in the workforce. Yeah. So you're supposed to learn and build character. And I I'm going to say this again. Again, people get all mad. There's all kinds of people that say, "Oh, I don't know about that." In my opinion, kids should be picking vegetables. Okay, that's not an illegal alien job. That's a job for our kids. Our kids should be doing that backbreaking work for various reasons. Number one, it's character building. Yeah. Number two, you don't need any skills. Go earn that money. Go earn that money in the summer. There's no problem with work. I don't understand why all of a sudden, like, Americans are too good to work on a farm. You know what? If I could provide for my family by picking vegetables, I might do that, right? Because, I mean, listen, I don't need to be a millionaire. For me, I'm not a materialistic person. I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to be a tens of millionaire. I don't need to be Bill Gates, right? And going to Epstein Island. I'm okay going to the farm and picking produce and doing manual labor if I can make my family happy by doing that. So there is absolute great value in being able to build character doing hard labor and in learning some work ethic. And I get it. Farm life, ranch life is very hard. It's very hard to be profitable. You can't depend on the weather. You can't depend on the prices. You can't depend on, the pressures of developers. There's all kinds of reasons that make it very difficult. But at the end of the day, we're responsible for fixing this. And if what you're telling me is that the people are not man enough to do what they're supposed to do, I just don't agree. I think we can do it. It's just not easy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Damn, my mic was off. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was good. I could hear you.
I muted it for a minute. You heard me, but nobody at home did. But what I said was, it's important that young people do this type of hard work early on in life because it teaches you what hard work is, and it makes you strive for something better. I mean, if I'm doing hard work and I know that if I keep going to school, I can maybe do an easier job and make more money, I might be more apt to do that. But now we have a whole generation of lazy people, super, super lazy people that don't want to do anything. And I fear for the future, John.
I do too. And you know what? Here's the thing is that these kids don't understand that there's a value to work. And that's a shame. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be a janitor. Like kids use that as an insult to each other. You're going to be a janitor. There's no shame in work. No. There's no shame in work, right? A man should be able to, a modern Renaissance man, you should be able to clean up. You should be able to work on a car. You should be able to plant a tree and pick the fruit of the vine. You should be able to do some math. You should be able to do these things. You should be able to defend your country and your family. You should be able to do those things as a man. And we just don't teach those things anymore. But, I just don't think that the world has become better since we started sending dumb kids to college to earn degrees that are overpriced, to come back and have a job that have nothing to do with what they learned.
Yeah.
Especially when they learned was BS. Yeah. So it's a system that was everybody's getting. Listen, the United States has X amount of dollars, right? We have just so much money. This country has so much money. Just like Osceola County has, they're soaked in cash, right? And everybody wants a piece of it. Everybody wants a piece of it, but we're paying for it. You think it's free. It's not. We're all paying for it. And so you send these kids to college, you send these kids here, and everybody's just grabbing, oh, here's a book. Here's a book. Here's a book. There's $5,000 worth of books. Oh, here's all this stuff. Here's your Apple Air, laptop. Here's this. Everybody's selling everybody everything, but nobody's worth anything. And that's the big problem. That just you don't get any worth from your experience, your educational experience, if you're not getting the worth. Now, I know that's not the case everywhere. I know some educators that are phenomenal. I know some districts that are great. I know some people where, I was just writing an article about some educators. They're not even educators. They're people, they're professionals who provide kids with experiences. And they do an amazing job providing kids with a professional experience in AV, in the AV world, in a TV studio and stuff. And I know that that's happening, But by and large, everybody's just trying to get a piece of the money. Everybody's just trying to get a piece of the money. Nobody's trying to create better people. And education world used to be like when Alexander the Great was the king of the world. He had a teacher, okay? And that teacher, famously, everybody knows who he is, right? It was all about making a king. And that's the way we should be educating kids. And you know what? Alexander the Great was a warrior. So get these kids out there swinging swords, swinging a hammer, getting their hands dirty, and don't be afraid. Don't let them be afraid to work. So these jobs should not go to illegal aliens, which is what this whole story was about. It should be going to Americans learning to be the best that they can be.
Couldn't agree more, John. All right, so before we go across the nation, we have this important message from our Secretary of Defense.
We know why we were put here. We were brought here to rebuild the military, match capabilities to the threats of today. So while our adversaries have produced millions of cheap drones, before us, we were mired in bureaucratic red tape. Not anymore. In June, President Trump issued an executive order unleashing American drone dominance to bolster our drone industry and arm our warfighters, because that's what we're all about. So today, I'm rescinding restrictive policies that stifle production, and this will unleash American manufacturing and the ingenuity of our warfighters by doing 3 key things. First, we're going to bolster the U.S. drone manufacturing base by producing thousands of American-made products, prioritizing Buy American. We'll arm combat units with a variety of low-cost, American-crafted drones, leveraging our world-leading engineers and AI experts. And third, we're going to train as we expect to fight. Senior officers, well, I'll grab this because it's the memo. Senior officers must overcome bureaucratic risk aversion in budgeting, weaponeering, and training. So here's the memo we're signing today, delivered via drones. Here on the front lawn of the Pentagon, with some of our great warfighters flying them. This is the future. We're in the fight. We're in the fight to win it, and we're never going to back down.
John. So first up, travel advisory warning issued at JFK Airport because radical Islamists have surrounded the airport.
You're chanting to kill Jews like myself. What is wrong with you, anti-Semitic freaks?
You guys don't talk now? You guys don't talk now. What do the police have to do with it? What do the police have to do with it? Oh, now you guys speak. Fuck you all. Yeah, shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut you down. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Only a matter of time.
Show your faces if you're proud of what you're saying, guys. Why are you hiding your faces?
Oh my gosh. And here's the thing. If you can't carry a gun into the airport, then the authorities need to be protecting you there. They need to be able to protect your path there. Yeah. I don't know that I ever want to fly again, man. The airways are crazy. If you don't have DEI pilots flipping your plane over, then you get off the air, you get out of the airport, you walk out the doors, and you have these crazy people there, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how these people don't find themselves in conflict.
It's bad enough that you see these protesters everywhere else now, and they're planning these protests almost on a weekly basis now, John. You know, it's crazy. We have another one coming up here in Osceola County, but we'll talk about that on the Florida show. But now you're seeing them at airports. And
That's
airports
crazy.
should not be putting up with this whatsoever. They should
that's what I'm
stamp
saying.
this out
Airport
right
is
away.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean?
You're 100% right. Airport is a whole different story. It's not a street where you can run them over. This is a place where you are exposed and vulnerable, and the airport should not allow that at all, not for a moment. The authority should not allow that for a moment.
No.
And I don't think that they have to. That's a secured kind of environment, and you're going to allow a terrorist to, no.
And you issue a travel advisory. It's like, come on, really? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
What a nightmare. All right, John. So
who wants to go to New York anyways?
The DOJ has filed a lawsuit against the state of California for allowing men in female sports.
The Justice Department suing California over alleged Title IX violations. The lawsuit cites Governor Gavin Newsom's own words that biological males competing in women's sports is, quote, deeply unfair. The Justice Department slams policies that eviscerate equal athletic opportunities for girls, and they also require girls to share in intimate spaces such as locker rooms with boys, causing a hostile educational environment that denies girls educational opportunities. And speaking of education, the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, joins us now. I think we have to just go back and listen to Governor Newsom in his own words. This is when he did a podcast with Charlie Kirk.
I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It is an issue of fairness. So it's deeply unfair.
Would you speak out against this young man, A.B. Hernandez, who right now is going to win the state championship in the long jump? I can see you wrestling with it.
No, I'm not wrestling. I'm not wrestling with the fairness issue. I totally agree with you.
Well, but you agree with it? I mean, come on. How do you do both things? This guy's such a creep. This is exactly what you would expect from Newsom. He doesn't. First of all, he says that he wrestles with it, that he agrees, but he doesn't. He doesn't give a damn, otherwise he would do something. And I'm glad that he's being sued. Too bad he's not going to have to pay for that lawsuit personally.
You know, he's a very slick politician. He's a double talker, just like some politicians we know here in Osceola County. He actually reminds me of one in particular, but I'll let you figure that one out, John. But yeah, Gavin Newsom, he's just a total scumbag.
He really is.
Of the first order. And,
I can't wait to see the outcome of this case, because they're literally going to let a young man beat all the women, win the state championship. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass confronts federal agents.
All the winners are in California.
In an area known for MS-13 gang members.
See if we could hear anything. This is a live look from the helicopter, so it is unlikely, but let's just try.
This is where we are. This is really the altitude where we're at. This is the 2X. This is just the glass, and then when I hit the digital doubler, we lose resolution. All right. Yeah, that's the digital doubler. That's what you're seeing. You're cutting the resolution down.
All right. Well, while they fight over the resolution on that helicopter cam there, yes, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass was down there confronting the ICE agents, and this has got to stop. She needs to be arrested. Any of these public officials that go and confront ICE and try to stop ICE from doing their duties, they need to be arrested. End of story.
Yeah, she should be arrested. I think that she's obstructing. And she should be arrested for sure. I mean, even if there's no legal basis, I would love to see her being arrested. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't lose your minds. But yeah, she's a terrible. I mean, she's a more terrible person than she is a mayor even. It boggles the mind that they elected this person to be the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They deserve it. It's just like New York. They deserve what they get.
Yep. Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there, John. California going ahead and sending out citations to residents for fireworks displays on the 4th of July. This is crazy. They were tracking them with drones.
But in the city of Riverside, there was another light in the night, keeping watch.
And they were able to capture, many violations.
The Riverside Police Department launched 5 drones over multiple nights looking for illegal firework activity over the holiday weekend, part of a new enforcement plan to catch those taking aim at the sky with illegal fireworks.
We're talking about the very illegal explosive mortars, the ones that are illegal in the state of California. You have to bring these from outside the state or outside the country.
Officer Ryan Railsback is the spokesperson for the department. He says it wasn't hard finding those breaking the law. Video from their drones show this man lighting one, but it set something nearby on fire. Thankfully, they got it out. But Railsback says it highlights the danger.
This is dangerous for them to do. That's why our city has taken this stance and putting a hefty fine attached to it.
The fine for those caught is $1,500. And if you were caught, the letters will be arriving in your mailbox this week.
There's no disputing what you're going to see on the video. The fireworks that were going on were affiliated with your property. It's plain as day on these videos.
So dozens of homeowners can expect to get in the mail what's called an administrative citation. It's not criminal. In fact, it is a fine against the property for using the fireworks, but there is an appeal process.
They have every right to appeal it, but we believe that every citation going out has a very strong video evidence to support it.
So far, 60 property owners have been identified to be receiving the fine, but some say it's not right.
I think it's wrong. If you're going to cite somebody, do it person to person. That's invasion of privacy.
We're in a rightful place in the sky. It's no different than when we have our police helicopter. We have 2 brand new or newer police helicopters that go patrol, and they're looking for things to help support the officers on the ground.
Only time will tell whether the fines are a deterrent or just simply another cost of the cell.
Unbelievable, man. They don't have anything better to do. They're going to send up their drones to sight.
The funny thing is that they have the guy setting something on fire, I wouldn't trust Californians with fireworks, to be honest. I think that they should use drones with explosives, millions and millions of them, to go fly around the border of California to keep the people of California in California. That's what I think. It's crazy. They could, and that cop was just, obviously that guy has never, been on a beat. That guy is like, he reminds me of Farva from Super Troopers.
he was very proud of himself over the drone footage, and
Yeah, he really was. I think it's going to be very hard to give any of those people a fine if they appeal, because so you have the people, they're doing it in the street. They may follow them back into the house, but they can say that was a guest. That wasn't me. That was not had nothing to do. You can't. It's not on my property. There's going to be some that may be on the property, but if they're in the street, then it's going to be very hard to say that you did it. Without certainty. And I don't know.
That's the thing, John. They said that they're going to cite the property owners. They're not, not the individuals, because they can't prove who the individual is, but they're going to cite the property owner.
Then you can't cite the property owner either. It's just, I don't know. It's a week. Who knows? In California, who knows?
Who knows how they bend the law there? We've seen they bend it to whatever they
bend it so that a boy can win the state championship. So in a female track and field event, so I guess they can do anything they want.
Just another reason there not to live in California whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Just unbelievable. Fireworks, that they find that, robbing a CVS or going
I think they're more
CVS.
Offended by the fact that it was on July 4th than it was the fireworks,
Yes, absolutely. You can go and steal from a CVS and you won't get in trouble, but you light off some fireworks, you're in big trouble there.
Big trouble.
Right. So the New York High Court strikes down this law, John, that gave illegal aliens voting rights.
New York State's highest court has struck down a controversial voting rights law. It allowed people who are not U.S. citizens to cast ballots in New York City's local elections. The Court of Appeals just released its decision ruling the law is unconstitutional. Since 2022, about 800,000 non-citizens have been able to vote for mayor, public advocate, comptroller, borough president, and city council members.
800,000, they're reporting, John. They're reporting 800,000, but I'm sure that number is much, much higher than that. And they were voting for everything.
Oh my gosh, man! You know what? This is another. I mean, I don't know. It's like New York and California compete to be the worst. It's just horrendous. It's like, oh yeah, I'll hold my beer. I'm the not allowed celebration for July 4th, and but I'm gonna let illegal aliens vote in our elections. I mean, it's just terrible. My taxes are gonna be 15%. Mine are gonna be 20%. It's what is wrong with these people? And here's the thing. I know a lot of New Yorkers. I love them. I always make fun of New Yorkers. And I take my family to New York once a year, usually in the winter, but to see snow and watch plays and whatever. And I mean, the culture's just not worth living in New York. Yeah, I mean, not even the culture makes it worth. Not even the bagels. There's not even the great street coffee. There's nothing about New York that makes it worth living there. It's just it's become horrendous. And California. I mean, I'm from California. I was born in California. I'm from the Bay Area. I used to think that California was the center of the universe, and it's just become so terrible. And I just don't know how we lost these two states. Great potential for these states, just completely lost to the woke mind virus and other things. And now you have, I don't know, what state was that lady from? The one who was saying that her whole goal is to destroy America. She probably goes to New York and she's like, oh, my job's done here already. I'm going to go to somewhere else. I mean, it's just terrible. Look, they're about to elect the communists.
Where she lives, John. She probably lives in New York.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she voted for that communist, and so much stuff is coming out about that guy. You guys really need to pay attention to New York because he's not the only one. There's about a half dozen of people just like the communist who's running for New York mayor across the country that are running for offices, and they're just as crazy as he is. And we really need to be paying attention to these small races because these are the minor leagues. This is where they get drafted from, and that's how Obama got there. Obama stole a Senate seat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, he found his way into the Senate and then into the presidency. I mean, so it can happen. Anybody can be fooled, and you don't want these people to get anywhere. You want them to stop, and it's just. I think Michigan's worse. Michigan is on their way to being like a New York.
Yeah, and they prop these people up, John. You talked about Obama, this guy, what's his name? I can't even say his name.
Mamdani.
Yeah. And then you got guys like Josh Wheel here in Florida that they're trying to prop up. Yeah. He's trying to take out Ashley Moody in the Senate seat that used to be Marco Rubio's here. This guy is a dangerous, crazy individual that we do not need anywhere near.
He's just like him. I don't think that it's going to happen. I think that we're safe from him here. But at the same time, Josh Wheel is the same caliber.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. But you're right. There's reason to be concerned. There's 100% reason to be concerned. But for sure, these people are winning seats in Michigan and New York and California and even other places. I mean, even Texas, right? They got a lot of problems in Texas. Yeah. So
we saw that with the Epic City that we talked about. Remember on a couple of America shows back, we talked about Epic City. Supposedly they put a stop to that. I guess
we've talked about a lot of stories, man. We've over the few years that we've been doing this, we've really been early reporters of some crazy stuff that ends up becoming big news.
Absolutely. All right, John. So 11 people arrested in connection to this ICE attack that happened in Texas.
District of Texas. Great to have you with us today. Obviously, this is a case that has gripped the attention of this country with these ICE agents under assault and attack. Tell us a little bit about this case, where it stands now, and the charges that you are bringing against these individuals.
Good afternoon, Martha. Just moments ago, we just charged an additional suspect named Benjamin Song with 6 counts in a federal complaint and have issued an arrest warrant. The counts mirror exactly what we charged the other individuals in the first complaint, which is 3 counts of attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, as well as 3 related gun offenses. Of course, he is facing up to life in prison. Just a little bit of background on him. Mr. Song was a former Marine reservist. He was other than honorably discharged from that service in 2016.
So in terms of these charges.
All right. Well, anyway, the sound wasn't synced up on that video for whatever reason, but you got the gist of what's going on here. And then these people did get, arrested. Thank God. And we need more of this to happen. When you interfere with ICE operations, you try to attack ICE officers, you need to go to jail, point blank. And Jamie says that she likes your shirt, John. Jamie, you can get one of those shirts too. They're at magastore47.com, or you can come to the next Osceola County Conservative Republican Assembly meeting on August 4th and get one at that meeting. So I just wanted to put that out there, John.
Yeah, MAGA47. I don't see the comments. Tom has them up there, but I can't see them because they're too small on my screen, so I can't see what people say. But yeah, thank you very much. Go get your Magastore 47.
Oh man. All right, John. So that is all we have for this evening.
Man, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So listen, I appreciate you. We had a great number. We had a great number tonight watching the show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please like and share the show. Follow. Make sure that you click on the notification so you know when we come on. We truly appreciate you staying with us, spending this time with us. We know that there's a lot of things that you could be doing, and so we appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
So please like and share the show as well. Thank you. God
Florida
bless
show,
you. We will
big
see
Florida
you.
show coming up. Big Florida show coming up. Maybe Sunday, John. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I don't know what night yet.
All
So
right.
stay tuned. You need those notifications so that when we pop on, if you have the time, you can stay with us and watch. Thank you. God bless you. We will see you later on.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you.
And I'm in favor of you being able to speak your mind, no matter what. That's how we get. Remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, and then you go home, and then you become friends. Disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have. Our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this. What is it called? Like some kind of
intermittent fasting.
Intermittent.
It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only ones